Trains have existed for over 200 years, and whether you've been on a train or not, you have definitely heard of this amazing vehicle. Trains, or locomotives, were invented in 1804 by Richard Trevithick, but they were popularized in 1829 by George Stephen's train, the Rocket. Trains in the 19th century were extremely different than they are today. Some modern trains are shaped like the ones of then, but the trains you and I probably imagine are nothing like the first one. I will briefly talk about modern trains in this documentary, as this is about train revolutions, like the initial boom in popularity of them, industrial use, the expansion of railways in America, and a few towns or cities started by railroads and trains. Let us get into the initial boom in popularity and the first trains. In 1804, Richard Trevithick made the first steam-powered train in the UK. The train used high-pressure steam and was one stroke of power. It had a sizable flywheel as the transmission to cancel out the piston rod, and it took its first journey on the 21st of February, 1804. Passing by the Penydarren Iron Works in South Wales. He did show a locomotive working on a circular piece of track, but he never made it past experimenting with it, so it never went mainstream. The engines were also too heavy for cast iron plateways, which were an earlier version of railroad tracks. The first mainstream locomotive, created in 1812, was Matthew Murray's rack locomotive, rack being the type of track used. This locomotive used 2 cylinders and it was not heavy enough to break the edge rails, and it solved the adhesion problem by using a cogwheel utilizing teeth cast on the side of one of the rails. In 1829, Rocket, made by George Stephen, entered and won the Rainhill Trials. Because of this win, his company became the primary builder of steam locomotives in Great Britain, Ireland, and other places throughout Europe. Along with the popularity boost in Europe, it also caused railways in America to expand a great amount, going from a few feet of rails to railroads spanning the entire country, all from a little invention thousands of miles away from them. These early track and train innovations helped start towns and cities around the world, especially in the U.S. Some towns such as Havana, Florida, and Tacoma, Washington, started with railroads and locomotives. Havana, started by trains and shade tobacco, is now popular for antiques and collectibles. The railroad that started it all was the Georgia, Florida, and Alabama Railroad in 1902. In 1904, Havana began to form, and 2 years later, families had moved in and businesses had opened, leading to Havana being founded in 1906. The town was named after Havana, Cuba, proposed by James Mathewson, paying respects to the Cuban tobacco made in the area. Shade tobacco would hold the town in steady population growth until the late 60s and early 80s, when a huge population drop of over 1,000 people occurred due to shade tobacco being banned. Tacoma, Washington had a similar but larger start. Founded in 1872 by Morton Matthew McCarver, it was originally named Commencement City. The railroad that started it, the Northern Pacific Railroad, which started timber operations, including the St. Paul and Tacoma Lumber Company. Other organizations founded around this time included the Pacific Lutheran University and the University of Puget Sound. The port of Tacoma was established after the Panic of 1893 to increase trade and development. In the Great Depression, the growth of the town slowed down, but the New Deal and World War II helped revive their economy and industrial activity. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge was constructed shortly after the Great Depression, but it collapsed very famously and very shortly after it was built. The first electric passenger train and the first electric locomotive powered by a generator was presented by Werner von Siemens in 1879. Not to be confused with the first electric train, developed in 1837, which was made by Robert Davidson. The first opening of an electric railway was in 1881 in Lichterfelde, Germany. This would change the industry, transport, and the economy of many countries. Werner von Siemens said to his brother, "Our electric railway is quite a spectacle here. It is running even better than expected. In just a few hours' time, around 1,000 people a day are being transported for a donation of 20 pfennigs to charity. The train carries 20 to 25 people and runs at roughly the pace of a horse-drawn tram. This is something we certainly can develop." This shows that compared to a horse-drawn tram, the train is many times more efficient. Looping back onto more modern, well-known electric trains from earlier, they have also revolutionized travel for us as well. Some going well over 200 miles per hour, helping us travel to places across small countries faster than ever. These trains, often referred to as bullet trains, were made for traveling very fast over long distances, cheaper than a car, not having to get gas or charges often. Bullet trains are mainly used for travel, but they have been used in Japan and China for cargo, especially with time-sensitive resources like medicinal supplies and fresh produce and seafood. Even though these modern electric trains are new and recent, the idea for them is over 200 years old and has just been built upon to make these trains powerful electric locomotives. These trains do not pollute and are more efficient than other types of trains and can have up to a 65% increase in fuel efficiency versus diesel trains. And they have regenerative braking, allowing them to brake faster and better. Whether it be for travel, moving, or transporting supplies across long distances, electric trains are extremely useful for people and the industries they are used in, allowing fast, bulk, and efficient travel across countries. Getting back on track and coming to an end, electric trains have impacted travel, settling, and transport worldwide, making it more efficient and timelier to take long-distance trips. The impact of these trains has revolutionized our means of travel. The public reaction to trains has always been positive, and it is obvious why. These vehicles are an amazing human invention that helps millions of people daily.